Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're here to help everyone vote, and I wanted to check in with everybody this evening and see how everybody's feeling or doing. And if you want to share or not share, it's understandable because it's a tough time, and I personally have been really anxious the last few weeks just thinking about the outcome of this election and how my vote's going to be important to make a difference or who knows. I'm really anxious, truthfully. I 12 conversations is a lot, and understanding the pros and the cons makes it even more overwhelming. And understanding it is that's why we're here tonight to help everybody as much as we can, give information and hopefully give clarity to find more solutions for their choices.
Great.
Does anybody want to share how they're feeling this evening? Miss Amy.
Can I jump in? I just wanted to give a general comment, and I want to thank everybody who's worked so hard on all of the different leadership and voting activities that you've been doing for a very long time. And just think, the election's next week and you'll have so much free time. And I feel like the work that you've done has really been so energizing and has just brought this really wonderful spirit into California library literacy. And so, it's just invaluable. And the work that you're doing is invaluable and so well done. So I just wanted to thank you. And I'm delighted to see all of you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for sharing that. We appreciate your support today, and it has been a long journey. I remember going to Sacramento last November and starting the journey of connecting with everybody through the state. So it's been a wonderful experience for me. Does anybody want to share how they're doing, how they're feeling? Feel free to unmute yourself and speak.
Yes. I just would just like to say this election has sent trauma my way. Actually, I've been traumatized through this election, and it actually, I vote. I'm a independent, but I've been looking at another party. So, and it's just opened up another world to me and another mission. Another really mission. A mission is this election will end, but the work goes on. And I really just really love that I see all these wonderful women working together, and this is how the world looks. And I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosanya. I don't want to put anybody in the spot, but you feel free to share anything you want to share tonight with us.
Thank you for today to keep the community, because I learned a lot, and we have the opportunity to share with our community that all that we learn, the important to vote and the important to be very close to our community. And keep the community is from the community to our community, and to help us to how to vote, to make this easy, to don't feel frustrated, that to understand that we have help in our libraries, in our community. The only thing we have to do is to ask, and we are gonna find answers, like in Kitty community.
Thank you, Martha. It definitely is true. We are here to help each other and help the community grow and learn and educate themselves. So we have no further feedback or any checking in with anybody doesn't want to share. Last call for anything that anybody wants to share with us this evening. Okay, with that said, Martha's gonna go ahead and give us a spill. It's not too late.
And but the agenda for tonight, Tanya?
Thank you, Miss Suzanne, for saying that because it slipped my mind. So as far as today, we're welcoming everybody and we're going to have some key dates in the elections, ways to vote, learn about what is on the ballot, and other questions and comments.
So you're right. This was handing it to Martha.
Yes, Martha.
This is Martha, and just to remind to everybody that we still have time to register to vote. It's never late. Some of those, some of us already vote. Some are thinking how I could vote, but it's not late. We still have 7 days, and also on the same day of the elections, we could make our vote. And it's never late. It's very important, and we had no excuse because we could have that in Spanish. And we just have to remember, I'm gonna say this in Spanish, is Dolores Huerta said, we do, si no votamos, nos fregamos. So that is important to vote, and just vote.
So I think Phoebe, our trained poll worker, is going to tell us a little bit about how to vote and the choices we have.
This year we have a lot of choices to vote. You can come in the same day, register and vote. We will print out your your ballot, and you can vote the same day. We have drop boxes around town in secure places. You also have a drive-through in Modesto, California, where I am, because I know they have different things going on in different cities. Your ballot is picked up every night and is labeled with the date of that day. And that's how it's entered into the computer, so that your vote is credited for that day. You can mail your vote. I heard somebody talking about, dropping off their ballot at the at the post office, and, it got processed. But I would prefer to take my ballot in either to a drop box or to the county register office to make sure that it is in someone's hand and not the mailbox. Don't drop it in your mailbox, please. Take it to the post office. Find a drop box. There are also going to be drive-by where you can, just drive through, drop it off, like you treat it like Starbucks without the coffee. And that's what's going on right now. I have not voted yet. I'm still looking at some things. I think I made up my mind today. So tomorrow I will be taking mine to the county office to get that done. I think that's pretty much it. And please don't wait till the day of election. If you have the time and you have your ballot, do it today.
Signature is very important. When you are done filling out your ballot, make sure to sign on the envelope, not on ballot, before mailing it or dropping it off at an official drop box. Make sure your signature matching what you have on your ID, because they will compare to your DMV record. And make sure when you sign, you must have to sign same way on your ballot envelope. Like example, if you have signed with first initial and last name, you must sign same way on your ballot envelope. Don't do any mistake, otherwise they don't count. And signature is very important.
Thank you. And Phoebe, if somebody wants to vote in person, should they be nervous, or are there good sanitary precautions if you go to a polling place? I'm thinking about voting in person.
Yes, we have taken care of all of that. Remember when COVID first came in town and it was on the rise, we are going to be sanitizing all day long. And there will be a sanitation station for voters that come in and going out. You can sanitize when you come in and you can sanitize on your way out.
Thank you. That makes me feel.
Please wear your mask. We are going to have social distancing as well. Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions or suggestions about the ways of voting, whether you're going to put it in a Dropbox like Taru did, or in the mail like Diane did? Any other questions about how to vote?
Well, I just wanted to say, because I voted today and I went to the Superior Court in Oakland, so they did have people cleaning the voter, whatever that table, whatever it's called. That every time somebody left, they would clean up. So you don't have to worry about that.
I voted yesterday and I wore the same shirt. So I have my sticker here. Anyway, you know, I went to the county courthouse, Rasanya, right by the library there. And there were so many people with those yellow boxes, and it was pretty great. All these people, it was toward the very end, but I felt good because I already got a text like Diane did, saying that they got my ballot and they're going to count it. But I don't know. I think it's such a special thing, like to drag your kid down with you so you can watch you vote and think you're a total freak the rest of his life. But that's what we do.
Actually, I like that because it's teaching them civic duty. So you're teaching your child what you do, and it passes on, because they can say that my parents used to vote all the time. So I think that's a good thing to have kids involved.
They say that's the number one predictor of whether someone grows up to vote, is if they grew up voting in a voting family.
Yeah.
I took my daughter every single election until she was old enough to move away. Well, if there's nothing else about how to vote, I think we're going to talk about how we get information about what's on the ballot. And one thing I think Phoebe was talking about marking up your sample ballot, and I don't know who wants to share about two nonpartisan sources come from the state: the official thick book, which of course we do the Easy Voter Guide, and then your sample ballot that lists everything you're voting on. Has everybody gotten their information guide and their sample ballot in the mail? I think, Holly, you said yours came late.
Holly.
Yes, mine did come late. Mine came late, and then the voter's guide from the county came significantly later.
So I think Tanya was going to check in with folks about how they're feeling about preparing about what's on the ballot.
Questions regarding preparing to vote, or anything on the propositions that we can clear up as far as the voter edge guide? There is actually information there for any additional questions or concerns as far as the propositions before voting. Go ahead, Amy.
I had a question. You know, there are some propositions. There were 2 of them. And, you know, I was looking to see who paid money for them, who was for it, who was against it. And ultimately, I really felt like it just wasn't my role to vote on these things because I didn't understand enough. So the question is on something like that, do you think it's better to vote no, or do you think it's better to leave it blank? I know no one has the answer, but I'm curious what other people do in that situation.
That's
I
an excellent
actually-
question, actually. That's a really excellent point. Please share. I want to hear this.
I actually, when I just absolutely can't comprehend, don't understand, feel like that, you know, is it fair? Like, say for instance, if it's property taxes and homeowners, I'm really conscious that I don't own a home. And I'm really conscious about that. So that's one thing I'm conscious of. And if I don't understand it, I leave it blank. I'm okay with not voting at all on it.
That's what I did, Rasanya. And then I was like, well, maybe it shouldn't be on the ballot and it should fail, but I just left it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's an excellent question because it just reminds us other states don't have these long ballots with 12 state propositions. We already have a long list of candidates. And in a moment, Tara's going to show us how she figured out the long list of candidates and the propositions. But I think some people think their vote won't count unless they vote on everything. And of course, you can vote on some things and not on others, and the things you vote on still count. And so I think, I've been thinking about this a long time, and not every proposition maybe necessarily ought to be on the ballot. And so not voting on it, can be seen, instead of voting no on it, but not voting on it at all can be another way of sort of saying, yeah, I don't really think this needed to be
the problem.
So I think it's part of educating yourself about who put it on the ballot. And some of the things, the propositions have a wide base of support. Many groups came together, and there's some that have a very narrow special interest group. And so the ones with narrow interest groups tend to be, it's just, again, you're right, Amy, there's no right or wrong, but it's something to consider. And let's move to how do we get nonpartisan information about what's on the ballot. And we're going to have Taru tell us a little bit about what you enjoy about Voter's Edge.
I thought my thing was on die.
Today we talk about wonderful website Voter's Edge. It is simple, useful, and easy to understand. And you can get information what you have on your ballot. When you enter your address, you can find national, state, and local level candidate. And you can compare two candidates, their candidate and their 3 priorities if they elect. You can compare them and you can profile so you can get detail of that candidate. And there is 5 tab: election, candidate, measure, voting, and my choice. So this voter age is very useful and resourceful, and you can then 12 proposition. And if you want to learn more, you can click on learn more information, and you can see here who put proposition on the ballot. This preposition put on the ballot by legislature. And you can see a very deep detail about that preposition, who funding them, who passes budget, pros and cons, supported or not supported, and who funding them. Everything detail you can see here, and who support them and who opposite that. So this information you can get here, very detailed. There are videos, campaign videos, and everything you can see here, that preposition, about that preposition and everything.
And for Martha, who brought it up, you can see the videos are in Spanish, and the whole website can be done in Spanish if you have people in the community you're trying to help who would prefer to read the information in Spanish. Here we go.
Can I ask a question? Or should I wait?
This is the perfect time.
So I noticed that I didn't notice before. Is that new? The Easy Voter Guide is on there for more information?
The propositions at Voter's Edge, they use the information and from the Easy Voter Guide, and maybe not everybody watching knows that the content for the Easy Voter Guide, the summaries of the propositions are also the same summaries they use at Voter's Edge. And many people on this call helped edit the Easy Voter Guide. So we have the Kita community team, the library literacy rock stars have created content that people all over the state.
VOTERS, Voters Edge.org. Yeah.
So has anybody else been getting things in the mail? Vote yes, no. I've gotten, I started to count up, and I think it was 40
million of them.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling when you see, has anybody else been getting this stuff in the mail?
I got tons of them. Like,
yes, me too.
I have a friend that's collecting all of them and wanting to see how high his pile will get by the end of the election. And it's pretty high so far.
Oh boy.
I'm like, maybe they can hold some of that mail and stop asking me for donations.
It's just and multiple, you know, I've gotten like 6 on, you know, a same proposition, for, against, and so so I think that's why the Voter's Edge and the Easy Voter Guide, and of course your sample ballot, that they're there for you as reliable information. How else are people getting information to make choices?
Well, I have been using the Voter's Edge. And then I also use a site called CalMatters, which has the propositions laid out nicely, but they don't have any of my local information. So the Voter's Edge has helped tremendously with me learning about who's running locally for my water board and the measurements and all those things. But CalMatters has been a really helpful one, as it outlines the propositions very clearly with both sides, tells you where the money comes from. Some of them have where it's polling. It's been very helpful.
I'm a fan of that too, and that's on the resource list that's posted at the libraryliteracy.org website and in the toolkit. So CalMatters has videos, that 1-minute videos on each proposition, which I think are great.
And we can find out where is Dropbox and vote center. So what on Voter Edge, so it is easy to find out where we need to go for drop our ballot.
I will just bring up the Cal Matters voters guide. Well, we can send that out. Do people, are you having, my daughter, husband, and I are going to be FaceTiming to talk through the whole ballot at the end of the week. So that's what we do, is we talk it through. Does anybody else like to do that?
I actually did that with my daughter. This is her first presidential election. She turned 18 like 4 days after the election of 20. Yeah, so she was very upset. But she's in Boston. So when she got her ballot, I had already sent her the links for Voters Edge and for CalMatter and told her to be looking up everything prior to getting her ballot so that she could educate herself. So as soon as she got her ballot, she could fill it out, get it back in the mail so it could get counted. And so we spent one night going over every proposition, every measure, everybody running. She's a very smart girl, so I appreciate her feedback. And the way that I see how I'm voting now, obviously it's voting for myself, but I'm also voting for her future. And now that she can vote for her future, I wanted to have the dialogue with her so that we could both understand where each of us were coming from as we made our vote. We didn't vote the same on anything really, but it was nice to know that the dialogue could be had, and I know where she's coming from. She knows where I'm coming from.
You know, one thing, Phoebe, you brought up something really important yesterday, which is the political parties are so visible at the national level and state level, but then as you went down the ballot, you noticed they weren't there. Do you want to help people understand a little bit about the parties?
Refresh my memory. I'm a little bit confused. Oh my God, my battery's gone. Oh, my battery's gone.
Well, one of the things we've talked about is not everybody knows there are 6 political parties in California, and you know, and you can also be registered independent, like I am. But the thing is, in this election, it doesn't matter what party you registered with. You can vote for whoever, a candidate from any party. But the other thing is, when you get down the ballot, like Tara was showing you, when people are running for community college district or mayor, they're not running as a Republican or Democrat or Green Party. They're just running locally.
Right. Sorry about that. My battery's down. Okay, I'm back up.
Did anybody else have a thought about the political parties?
While Phoebe getting their stuff together, I do. So I mentioned that it seemed like there's only 2 political parties in America, that the Republican and the Democrat. And when people come here, they just automatically, most people like immigrants come here, and I shouldn't say most, I should say the people that I help mostly think they're Democrat. And then when I go over some of their belief system, it doesn't match. Some of the stuff doesn't match the Democratic Party, but they refuse to be a part of the Republican Party. So just today, I looked at one of the parties, the Green Party, and then I looked at my ballot, and I looked at what they for and what they get, oppose it, and what they endorse it. And I'm looking, I almost voted almost similar to the Green Party. Like, with exception of 1 and 2. I'm like, oh my God. It just teaches me a lot about, my belief system too. Like I might be voting Democrat, but still no, my head has been conformed to think that I need to be voting more Democrat. My head, I'm conformed, meaning I was told and I bought into that system, even though I'm not a Democrat, but still my mindset is. So yeah, I think that needs to be taught if we helping people learn how to vote. We also need to help people understand about choosing a political party.
And the fastest growing set of voters in California are people who register with no political party.
Yeah.
So that's always an option.
But when it comes time to vote for a president, where do we end up? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
So do people have other advice for making choices? You don't have to vote on everything. Use nonpartisan sources. Talk about it.
Well, I still have a question because I think I brought this question up yesterday as well. When I was going through my ballot, actually me and my family was going through our ballot when it came to our city officials like mayor and stuff like that. You couldn't find what political party to belong to. And it's like, okay, how do I do this? You know, if anybody know how we can figure that out, I would like to know, or where we can find that information from. It will be great to know that.
So I think what we talked about, and we brought up, Phoebe's got 8 mayoral candidates. She's got a big, and so in their case, if they chose to participate in Voters Edge, you were looking at their stated job description, their profession, and so forth. So at the local level, you don't run with a party designation next to you. And so rather than use the party affiliation as a shortcut for thinking what they might stand for, you actually need to understand each candidate on their own terms, because they're not running as a Republican or a Democrat or a Green or a Peace and Freedom. Whereas at the state level, when they're running for state assembly or state senator, they do have a party designation on the ballot. So that's why you brought it up. So that at the local level, it's more getting to know them as a whole person.
Okay. Done.
So I think, have we landed at the time where people are going to make some closing comments, their final takeaway or thoughts for the people viewing who are getting ready to participate in the next week?
Can I go?
Please.
I would advise anyone that is going to vote or choose to vote to always think about tomorrow, the future, your family, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Please don't think about right now, because it took us 100 years for women to vote. We have to secure the tomorrow for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren when you go to vote. That will be my advice. Thank you.
I think Tanya's next up.
I would say take ownership about having a voice. By this, I mean being able to participate. Like Ms. Phoebe said, 100 years ago, women didn't have the right to vote, let alone individuals of color at one point. We're a country of immigrants. So moving forward, let's hope to make this country better. And like Phoebe said, it's not about right now. It's such an anxious time frame of having to think of all these things, but knowing that your vote can make a difference for all of us should encourage many of you to take that leap of faith. And even if you feel that it might not make a difference, I truly believe it does. And I know many of us do. That's why we vote. So please continue on the positive, hopefully new evolution that we're here to witness in history, because we need it, especially now with everything going on. This is so important. And there's no tomorrow if we can't focus on voting today. And I'm taking my own advice because honestly, it's making me feel really anxious, and I cannot wait to look at this and just be done with it. And the advice that was given to me today was, if I'm not sure about it, don't vote on it. And I think that's excellent advice that I would want to give to others. This election and any election is not easy. So keep that in mind. If you don't feel in your heart to vote for something, it's okay to not eat everything on the menu, like we've educated everybody in these workshops.
I like that.
Taru, you're next on this list. What advice could you give people? Could you unmute?
I'm agree with Fabi because what she says is long term. We need to think very good, like thinking, I'm checking everything, then do vote. And that is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Martha.
Well, I think that it is very important to teach our families, our neighbors, our friends, our community to be proud to vote, to make to always choose the best, and to choose the best is to like our to choose the best in a future for our family, for our community, to change. If we want to change our world, we have to change the thing in family first. We have to teach them to vote, and they're gonna teach others to vote. So I think it's the best future that we could have if we vote. Feel proud to vote. We have all the help, and we just have to be proud of that. Thank you.
I didn't know if Sabrina or Diane wanted to jump in, and I think Amy gets final word tonight.
I'll go. Sorry, I'm having technical issues. Can you hear me? Okay. So I just wanted to say, through this process of this wonderful community of women, I just feel so inspired and hopeful about the future, because I can just see that it doesn't stop here, right? Everyone is so passionate about what's happening in their communities. And just like we've been saying throughout this process, you know, start from the personal, start from what matters for you, and it will grow from there, right? And it becomes much more clear in that way. And I wanted to piggyback on what Rasanya said about the political parties, right? And kind of understanding, again, starting with what you believe in, and then looking to see what matches with that. And the part that makes me hopeful about that is I studied history when I was in school. And I always feel that understanding your history can really help inform the future and where you want to go. And that does make me very hopeful, because, you know, we have 6 main political parties now, but if you look back in history, those parties have morphed, they've changed names, they've moved, and they've moved because of people, and they've moved because of those movements and their passions, and what they feel is important pushes those parties to match what the people want. So it gives me hope that, you know, if your beliefs don't match with any of those main things, other people maybe feel the same way. So again, just being active and vocal and talking to people about it is how change is made. So thank you all for being such an inspiring group for me.
Before Amy gets Brasanya, because I can't see your eyes, did you have something you wanted to share?
Oh, you funny. But you can hear my laughter. I really don't, because it's just been a lot. It's been a lot that led up to this point, and I just think it's a beautiful thing to continue on learning and giving and taking in and listening. So I really thank y'all for, keep on walking, keep on doing this work. And it's a beautiful thing. That's it.
I heard Diane Shimoda's name mentioned earlier.
Ah.
Just thought
Okay, I'm here. Well, every time I start to say something, someone else says the same thing. So I did have some questions about some of those propositions about bail and parole and sentencing length. And it was so confusing, and I didn't know what the ramifications are. So I waited until my brother got his ballot, and then we talked through it, because he understands things in a different way than I do. But I wanted to say, I've never been more engaged in the voting process since last November, when we all got together for the first time to talk about this. And watching Tanya and Martha grow through the Kita community, and they started a book club in our literacy program, and they have ideas for new things to do as leaders. I mean, it almost brings tears to my eyes at how much opportunity you ladies have provided for all of us. And so I'm inspired, and I'm grateful to have you all in my life, and Martha and Tanya in our program. So thank you. Is that a baby?
Shall I say the last word? Well, I'm so honored, you guys. I almost feel, anywho, I just want to say that I really enjoyed tonight. And, I really am so impressed with just all the different resources and the way of explaining how things work, and things that I'd never thought about before. So I don't have the beautiful, touching words that I've just heard from everyone, but I want to thank you for having this. And it was, the hour went by, So thank you, everybody. I think Holly and Susan, like, if you want to have the last word, I think it could be capped off nicely.
I simply just want to share that my heart is full of gratitude, and I really do believe that this type of connection, this type of leadership, this type of growing the good together and learning and growing and stretching is exactly the way we're going to get to the society we want. So my heart is full. Thank you all.